Hey, it's me, Vicky Mary, and happy Good Friday. And if, like me, I think we're very lucky, aren't we? If you, like me, are looking forward to a lazy Good Friday, just doing as little as possible, really. Hello, dog's coming up to say hello to me, Riley. All right, all right. Then we're lucky, aren't we? If that's what we're looking forward to doing today on Easter Friday, is as little as possible. Maybe you're off work, maybe you've got family coming round, or you're going round to see family. We're lucky, aren't we? Unfortunately, Riley Strain's family today later on today, when it's daytime in America, will be having his funeral. So, that's not very nice, is it? On Easter Friday. Here's Riley coming. Yeah, look, Riley's just coming up for a cuddle. So, it's so sad, isn't it, about Riley? Not only Riley, but, all people that are facing Easter now without their loved ones, either if their loved ones are missing or something, or they know for sure that something has happened to them. So we have to count our blessings, don't we, every day? Oh, Riley just looks at me with such love. It's so sweet. So, yeah, we're counting our blessings today. But today, what I'm going to do, what I've come on to do this live this morning, I just want to talk about this sort of mystery about Riley and about the fact he was not wearing, when he was found in the water, he was not wearing his jeans or his cowboy boots. And of course, his wallet had gone. His wallet was probably in his jeans. But he was wearing his Apple Watch. So this thing about maybe he was robbed, then you think, why didn't they take his Apple Watch? Unless they thought that was too personal and could be tracked. This is if we presume there was any foul play. Now, I think I want to make it clear, and the family have made it clear. They're not saying that there was foul play. They just want everything investigated thoroughly, so just in case. They want things looking into again. They think that there's enough mystery about it. There's a possibility that there was foul play, etc. So anyway, we're going to watch a couple of videos where representatives of the family are speaking, or there's statement from the family. Nothing is going to come out today because they'll be concentrating on Riley's funeral. But they have said that there may be some things coming out next week, some news coming out next week. So we're going to look at that. We're also going to look at the CCTV, not at the bit where we could see Riley stagger. It's so distressing to watch that CCTV of him stumbling around. And that must be so awful for his family to watch that. When I think about how distressing it is for me, imagine for the family. Just to see him stumbling around like that, and now to know sort of that he did end up in the river one way or another. So we're going to look at some of the CCTV that somebody has very kindly sent me, and some bits of it that have been pointed out as possibly significant. We're going to look at that as well. So first of all, I just want to say hello. I think I've probably caught people a bit off guard. It's very early in the UK. Hi, Alana. Hi, Maggie. Hi, David. Hi, Trace. Oh, there's a few of you up and about. Of course, Alana, it's night time for you, is it, Alana, I presume? Hi, Ali. You're on early this morning. Yeah, so that's what we're going to look at, Alana, that like some experts who talking about what could possibly happen to clothes. And it's unusual for clothes to come off. Some people on my comments have suggested that maybe Riley took them off to stop himself from going under. I don't believe that for a minute. Riley didn't know what day it was. I'm sure he wasn't, confident enough to be trying to take his jeans off and his boots. How difficult would that be? They could have come off in the water, in the flow of the water that's mentioned in some of the things we're going to look at. It's a possibility, isn't it? It's got to be thought about, but we have to see what the experts say, because the experts will know, are people typically found without clothing in rivers? Maybe, and don't forget, although he'd been there a couple of weeks, he hadn't been there that long. I mean, you can see, how in the future, if he'd been in there 6 months, obviously remains become smaller and smaller. It just, sorry to be a little bit graphic, remains become smaller and smaller, and maybe there would not then, the clothes would not be able to stay on. But I think after 2 weeks, anyway, that's what we're going to look at. Okay, so let's look. First of all, we're going to look at some videos of, people talking about what they think about this case. Now, this is a forensic expert talking about what possibly can happen to people if clothes can come off or not. Okay, so it starts off with a statement from the police chief.
At this time, according to the examination here at the riverbank, signs of foul play at this.
Yeah, so the police chief came on and said, no evidence of foul play from this initial forensic examination at the riverbank. And nothing was mentioned then about him not wearing any clothes on his bottom half. Now, he had his boxers on, apparently, and his shorts, but he just did not have his jeans on and cowboy boots. And, of course, his wallet had gone, because probably his wallet was in his back pocket. So it's but you see, his jeans will turn up, his jeans, and especially the boots, because shoes tend to float, don't they, apparently. So it may be that they came off in the water, but surely they've got to turn up at some point. They'll be found, won't they? Will they have sunk to the bottom? I don't really know what happens to clothes. Anyway, so initially the police guy did not mention the fact he'd been found unclothed or partially unclothed, and said there was no evidence of any foul play. And we don't have the toxicology reports yet. They're going to take a little while to come through. Now, as far as I know, the second autopsy that the family asked to be performed, I don't think that has turned up anything either, but I don't know about confirmation of that.
This time, according to the examination here at the riverbank.
The question of what exactly happened to Riley Strain still remains unanswered 6 days after the 21-year-old's body was pulled from the Cumberland River. Thanks for joining us, everyone, here on News Channel 5 Plus and streaming tonight. I'm Rory Johnston.
And I'm Carrie Sharp. The family has ordered a second autopsy as we are still waiting for the final report.
But a new detail led us to a world-renowned expert on body decomposition right here in Tennessee. Nick Barris has the story.
A friend of Riley Strain's family says that they ordered a second autopsy, which reached the same basic conclusions as Metro's. But he says the Strain...
Yeah, he says here, now I can't find any results. I was just looking then on the internet. I couldn't find any results, any specific results. But this guy here, this reporter, he does say they reached the same conclusion
as Metro's. But he says the Strain family... same basic conclusions as Metro's, but he says
came to the same basic conclusions as Metro's.
The Strain family also has questions about the condition of Riley's body when it was pulled from the river. A dock worker spotted the body downriver from downtown Nashville, where Riley was last seen. Police Chief John Drake confirmed the identity.
Mr. Strain still had the shirt on that he was wearing, still had the watch.
But News Channel 5 has learned Riley's body was found without his jeans or cowboy boots.
Now, you would think that the Apple Watch would have been stolen if it was foul play and it was robbery. But as I say earlier, maybe people were too scared to take the Apple Watch because, of course, it can be traced and they would probably know that. So maybe that's why it wasn't taken. Maybe it was too dangerous to take. Now, his credit card, of course, was found on the bank of the river, his debit card. If somebody stole Riley's wallet, they would probably throw away anything except cash, anything that had his name on, anything that could link them to him. I'm sure they would have disposed of, and if there was any cash in there, they would have taken that. Or did it fall out of Riley's back pocket, or was Riley sort of holding it because he was thinking of maybe getting an Uber or something, and then he just dropped it, or was he messing about in his wallet? You know, these are perhaps answers we may never know.
Boots. Riley certainly was fully clothed in the security video the night he disappeared, but when he was pulled from the river 2 weeks later, from the waist down, only his boxer shorts and socks remained.
It is unusual. Normally, if you fall in the river, it's very difficult to get your pants off.
Dr. Bill Bass, now retired, is the founder of the University of Tennessee's famed Body Farm and one of the foremost experts on body decomposition in the world.
Ooh, I fancy being an expert on body decomposition. It's horrible, but someone's got to do it, you know. So this expert says it'd be difficult to get your jeans off if you're in the water. Now, I could imagine that. I'm just thinking, you know, if you, like when you've been in a swimming pool, or you imagine trying to take clothes off when you're in the water, would that be difficult? And why would Riley have done that? Unless, you know, somebody said, oh, maybe to stop him sinking, but I don't think I would think of taking my jeans off. I don't know what I would think of. Will you be shouting for a start? Again, this seems strange because it seems like this, when we look at the CCTV in a moment, there was quite a lot of people around. I'm sure if Riley would have screamed, you know, or shouted for help, if he had a chance to, because of course he was worse for wear, so, you know, he may not have had a chance to shout, but if he would have done, I'm sure somebody would have heard him. Also, it's this splash thing I cannot get over in the Nicola Bulley case. Why splash was not heard. When someone falls in the water, it makes a noise. And my little dog's jumped in. You know, my little dog's tiny and has jumped in a lake once and jumped in a canal once when we were out walking. I heard both splashes clearly, even though he was a little bit far away from me. I heard the plop, you know, of him jumping in the lake. So no splash, no shouting, no nothing. But as you'll see, there's quite a few people around.
We asked him about the missing pants and boots. Dr. Bass says it's possible, but unlikely they just came off in the river current.
No, they would not come off by themselves.
Dr. Bass says debris could have snagged the clothing, or
I would say that somebody took them off. If you do research on this, which is very difficult because you got to kill a person to do it, but it's difficult to get your pants off. It's difficult when you're alive to get your pants off.
we did.
No, I do agree. It's difficult sometimes to get your pants off. And the thing is, if you've got boots on, I suppose you could kick your boots off. You know, you'd kick one boot off and then the other one, and then maybe it'd be easier. I don't know if he was wearing a belt. You know, he was a very slim guy, isn't he? A very tall, lean guy. You know, so maybe his jeans were a bit gappy. You know, it could be, you know, the fashion these days is to wear them bigger rather than tight, isn't it? You know, people don't tend to wear, young people don't wear skinny jeans anymore. You know, they wear more roomy, comfortable jeans. So, you know, it's always possible. At the end of the day, it's possible, but you've got to learn, you know, you've got to, when an expert's saying it's unlikely or difficult, you know, we have to take that's the whole point of him being an expert, isn't it? He does know what he's talking about. And I saw that somebody had just asked there in the chat that maybe the funeral was too early. But, you know, these days what they do is they take all the details, they scan the body. The bodies are ready very quick for burial because they scan them. They take samples of all the, you know, the relevant things, like all the essential, you know, the brain, the organs, etc. And then quite quickly they release bodies for burial these days. They send things off for toxicology, but they keep, so, you know, they do keep parts of the body. I mean, it sounds awful, but that in that way it's good, because in that way, along with the scans, etc., they can release the body itself because they've got any relevant information that might be needed for later on if there's, so exhumations of bodies are not so necessary now, because as long as an autopsy's been done and all these details have been kept, normally you would not need to actually exhume the body these days. That's my understanding anyway. And cases can go back years. If there's been an autopsy done, like the case I'm specifically thinking of is the case of Helen Bailey and her horrible partner Ian Stewart murdered her and her little dog. And then it turned out that his first wife had died it wasn't suspicious circumstances at the time. Died, just been found dead in the garden, and he'd made a panicked 999 call, and her death was found to be not suspicious. But luckily, because some samples had been kept, because there was an autopsy, after it was found that Ian Stewart murdered Helen Bailey, his partner, they looked back then at his first wife's case, and with the details that had been kept from her autopsy, they found that she had been drugged and that she had been murdered too. So he was prosecuted for her murder, but they didn't need to exhume her body to do that because of the samples that they had on record. Where they keep them, I don't know. But anyway, so that's what I'm saying. So they'll have taken everything they needed from Riley, and now he's going to be buried later on today, or today in America. I get confused with the time zones. So that'd be very sad. You don't expect to be burying your son, do you? That'd be very, very sad.
Speak with Riley's stepdad, Chris, who says he does not right now want to comment on the Friends interview because the family is preparing for Riley's funeral on Friday. But he did say that they will have, quote, big things to share, unquote, next week. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Nick, thank you. Investigators are still awaiting toxicology results from the autopsy. For now,
So that was interesting, wasn't it? He said that the family said they're not doing, they won't be talking about it today because it's Riley's funeral. They'll be concentrating on Riley's funeral. Let's just go back to that, what he said. But they're expecting big things next week.
Toxicology results from the autopsy. For now, the case remains open.
Say that they will have, quote, big things to share, unquote, next week. Nick Barris, News Channel 5.
Nick, thank you. Investigators are still awaiting toxicology results from the autopsy. For now, the case remains open.
Oh, I think we'll watch this one as well.
Questions are still lingering tonight in the mysterious death of 22-year-old college student Riley.
So before we watch this video, I think we'll watch this as well because it's interesting. So big things next week. So what are they expecting?
Strain. And while the toxicology results and a final autopsy report conducted by the Nashville Medical Examiner are still pending, it seems like the investigation is pretty much shut and closed, as the Nashville Police Department is now stating that preliminary reports show no apparent signs of foul play. This is an explanation that his family is just not satisfied with, because the parents have now ordered a second autopsy in an effort to get as many answers as possible on what exactly happened to them.
Yeah, Alana, I thought that was strange what that guy said. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Because he's a forensic investigator. What things has he done to, because he's an expert in body decomposition. But when he said it was very difficult to prove these things because you'd have to kill someone to investigate it. So, yeah, hope he hasn't done any of that.
To their son. Now, what we do know for sure at this time is that the University of Missouri senior was kicked out of a Nashville bar the night of his disappearance. Now, surveillance of Riley that night shows him running headfirst into a pole and later holding his head just minutes before a short exchange with a police officer.
Yeah, that was quite strange, wasn't it? Because one minute he was tumbling all over the road, he banged into a pole. And then when he saw this police officer, he was reasonably okay. But I think personally, I think that's what you would do. He's obviously not so far gone that he doesn't realise there's a policeman there. And he's like thinking, oh my God, well, he's not going to want to be arrested, is he? So he sort of tried to hold himself together, and he had like a normal interchange really with the police. But I think he really held himself together to do that. So, because, yeah, a couple of minutes before he literally fell over, banged into the lamppost, bless him. Very distressing to watch that, because, you know, it's common, isn't it, when people have had too much to drink, they do things like that. You know, I've probably done that myself many times years ago when I was about 19, 20 or however old I was. You know, I think quite often we go through a phase as young people where we can't control what we take in. We don't, you know, whereas now, you know, you sort of drink responsibly, don't you? But I think when you're young, the last thing on your mind is drinking or taking drugs responsibly. You just want to get high, and that's it.
His body was found in a nearby river around 8 miles from where he was last seen alive, 2 weeks after his initial disappearance. And what has many questioning the details surrounding his death is the various items that were missing from him when he was discovered. Jeans and cowboy boots were both somehow missing from his body, his wallet too, which was found earlier in the week. Now, a friend of the family, Chris Dingman, joined Brian Enton last night to discuss this.
One thing that threw the family for a loop was, you know.
I just want to show you Rocky. I don't know if you can see him or not. This is how my dog Rocky. Oh, this is how he sleeps. Just like he's whacking his tail. He's so chilled, Rocky. It's just like he's lying on his back like that, like legs akimbo. Bless him. Sorry, just wanted to show you that. Because I thought it lightens the mood a little bit.
You know, the coroner going on record with a news person in Nashville stating about the lack of water in his lungs. It raises more questions. You know, I'm not a crime drama person by no means, but usually water in the lungs means that, you know, they were alive when they went into the water. Unfortunately, the only thing that was found with him, as the police stated in the report, was the watch and the shirt. Everything else was not with him when he was found.
That report that Dingman is talking about states that it is unclear whether or not there was water present in his lungs.
Metro Police Chief John Drake said that there appears to be no evidence of foul play, and it looks to be a horrible accident. We don't yet know if water was found in Strain's lungs. Some suggest if none is found, that Strain was dead before he went into the river. But the medical examiner tells me that is not definitive. A person struggling to breathe underwater can have a throat spasm that shuts off your airway. When that happens, no water goes into your lungs, and it's known as dry drowning.
Yeah, so we've got to remember it's not impossible that he would have no water in his lungs. So there needs to be more investigation, basically. And this is what the family is saying. They're not saying necessarily they think anything in particular. They just think it warrants further investigation. And you know what? If that was your son, you'd want to know exactly what had happened to him. And any anomaly you would want to clear up, wouldn't you?
Of course, the final toxicology reports will give us more insight into his blood alcohol level and if any drugs were present in his system the night he disappeared. But clearly, there's so many questions that remain. Joining us right now, my good friend Joseph Scott Morgan. He's a forensic death analyst who is one of the leading experts on the coroner system in the United States. You can also check out his Body Bags podcast, too. Joseph, so good to see you. What are they looking to find in a second autopsy? Is that necessary?
Yeah, it is necessary in this case, Jesse. I would strongly urge the family to pursue this because they need an advocate, a medical legal advocate that is going to look at Raleigh's case very, very carefully. I think that this is very important. I'm glad that they've gone ahead and taken that step. And also, you know, keep in mind, I'm not going to get too terribly gruesome here, but forgive me. His body has already been previously examined by the ME in Nashville. So the body will not be in pristine state when the private pathologist receives the body. So that's an extra hill that they have to climb. I just hope that they're cooperative with all of the tissue samples that they need, because tissue samples are going to be very important in this.
Well, I gotta explain to me, aside from the autopsy, missing shoes, pants, the wallet, he was found with his shirt and Apple Watch. Does that seem strange to you?
Yeah, it kind of does. Not so much the shoes, you know. And when we say shoes, let's be specific. What I'm hearing is that these are actually slip-on cowboy boots in a river such as the Cumberland. And I don't know that people have been to Nashville, or maybe my hometown in New Orleans, where the Mississippi flows through. You can't appreciate how swiftly that water is moving. I mean, it is clipping along. If a body is floating out there, you can imagine those boots filling up, and they'll be swept away many times. He's been in the water for a protracted period of time. It is troubling to me that the pants were missing. I'm curious if he had a belt with.
Yeah, so it's interesting. He's saying that you can see, because there were slip-on cowboy boots apparently, so you can see that laced-up shoes would be unlikely to come off. But yeah, if he had slip-on cowboy boots and he's been sort of, you know, in the river for a couple of weeks, the flow of the water could easily have taken his boots off, I suppose. Though I do still think that they would turn up somewhere eventually. But the trousers, the jeans are another matter, unless they were very, very loose fitting. You know, it's always possible, isn't it? And now he was asking, and I think it's an interesting question, did he have a belt on? Because if he had a belt on, it's more unlikely that they would have slipped off. But if he didn't have a belt on, then they could have.
With him as well. And remember, just as you said, the wallet was found elsewhere. I think that that's a curious thing. And there were homeless people around that area. I want to know, how thoroughly were they questioned? Did the street crimes unit that deals with the homeless population come in and talk to them individually and canvass that population?
I remember we spoke with Evan Lambert last week and said that one of the rumors that was circulating around the homeless population was inaccurate. So you're dealing with that as well, perhaps unreliable witnesses. Joseph Scott Morgan, thanks so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation.
Okay. So that's where we are. And you need to rewind and watch the rest of the video. We've been through all the things of the no water in the lungs and how it could be dry drowning, etc. But you need to really put the video back to the start, because you've missed quite a lot. Okay, so now what we're going to look at is, she says, where is it? Right, so someone very kindly sent me the CCTV from Birch Pedestal view of Gay Street. So this street is Gay Street. It's a massive street that runs along the side of the river, from what I can gather. I mean, obviously, I don't know that area. And this was put up on YouTube a couple of weeks ago when Riley was still missing. And it was put up back, so I've got to give credit to this YouTuber who's put it up. I don't know the YouTuber, Brandon Smith, only 374 subscribers. But on this video, there's 46,000 views, which is a bit unfair that people, in fact, I'm going to subscribe to him, because if we're using his video, we should at least subscribe. Now, what's interesting here is this. I mean, it's 2.5 hours long. I haven't even watched all of it. But some people have sort of highlighted different events. And that's what we're going to look at, where they've... Let's have a look. Now, I'm not very good with these kind of things. I find it difficult to make out people, etc. But you can make out there are quite a few people seen. Let's have a look here. Let's start looking at it. Okay, have I pressed play? Yeah. So I think right up to this point, there's nothing really happens. And then you see a couple of cars. Now here, there is someone here walking. Can you see this person? Now, they're saying on the chat, there are 2 people. someone in white and someone in black. They stopped for a while. Not Riley, we're not saying this is Riley in particular, but people that are around. There's a few cars going by, but it's quite a lonely part of the street, this, isn't it? Now, suddenly then, we've got people on scooters, motorbike. Oh, so there's quite a lot of people. That's apart from the homeless people, because of course there's a big homeless encampment, isn't there, as well? Just see any other okay, so then this person says that there's a tall figure running. Now I couldn't, maybe I can see it this time. There's supposed to be a tall figure running on this part, but I've got to say I can't see this. Maybe you can see it. You may have to keep, you know, rewinding, playing again. I personally cannot see a tall figure running on this video, on this part of the video. It's very difficult, isn't it, to make out? But I could see those other people later on, the person in white, the person in black, and obviously all those people on scooters, etc. Where else have we got? So I couldn't make out the tall figure running. Let's have a look at this one. Something's supposed to be here. What's supposed to be here? Hang on. So 2 black SUVs come from the right. Figure crosses the street at 5606. 5606. And the street lamp flashes as the figure crosses at 5623. Let's see. Personally, I didn't see anyone cross the street. Or was it that little flash up here? Yeah, I don't see anything there, but then I'm not saying that means there was nothing. It just might be me. I just not seeing it. I saw a little flash, but I don't know where it was. You know, my technical skills are not good enough to sort of go right into this and look at, you know, sort of find these things. Street lamp flashes as figure crosses at 5623. We'll just look one more time at that. Yeah. Personally, I don't see that, but maybe you did see it, or maybe if you go back and have another look at this video, you know, you might be able to see it. Okay. So let's have a look at this one. Zoom in at 5518 and you see a tall, blurry figure running down the sidewalk. I don't think I can see that either. You know, is it just me? I can't see anything. I'm just going to come and see what you lot are seeing, if you can see anything. Yeah, I don't think anyone's seen anything out there. Well, nobody's saying they're seeing anything. I saw the people on the scooters and the bikes, obviously, but I can honestly say, and I'm really trying to see, I need to maybe look more carefully, I don't know. Let's see, street lamp flash. So we've looked at that. I couldn't see that. The man running who enters the frame at 55:16. So enters the frame from the south end. Let's see. I just do not see that figure. As I say, maybe it's my eyesight, but can anybody see that figure that they're talking about? No. So I think it needs a lot more enhancement, personally, for someone like me anyway, to find it. Where else have we got? So, police unreleased footage shows Riley in between the two bridges. A man can be rolled out. Right, then somebody says here, what's going on at 2:02:40? Let's see. Said a group of people come out of the building. I can't see anyone coming out of the building as well. Joe, I think it's me. I'm just not very good with these things. I literally cannot see anything. Just the street. I'm going to go back to some of these earlier ones. These are supposed to... I do see this, yes. I see somebody walking. There's a person in a white shirt and a person there. I can see that. Someone in a lighter coloured top, someone in a black outfit. They stop for a while. It appears like the person in black, and then this car goes past, and then they carry on walking. So I can see clearly that there are two people there. That I do see. But this tall figure running, I just can't see it. But somebody else has mentioned, where is this tall figure running? Is it this here? So, you know, I've got to be honest, I don't see that. Anyway, what I would say to people is, and I am going to look at this and try and, I'm going to Google how to sort of make it bigger and enhance it a bit so that I can look at it better. Hi, Michelle. Yeah, moving it to the right place, Maggie. I'm just going to, they've spotlighted it. Look, when you go into the comments, it says if you zoom in at 59:20. Now, I can see that one. That's with the person in the white shirt accompanied by someone all in black. That I can see as clear as anything. There you go to that bit. They're putting the timestamp, so I'm just going to the timestamp that they're giving. You can see these. Look, you can see those as clear as day. So that I can see. Well, I say as clear as day. The guy in black you can hardly see because he's in black. But the guy in white stops, waits for him, and then the two of them carry on. Now that is clear as anything, I think. The ones I can't see are this one, like 55:18, tall figure running. And it slows down as the white SUV comes. I can't see this at all. There's somebody running here, apparently. And then the white SUV comes. But I haven't seen a tall figure running there. I couldn't see a tall figure running at all. But as I say, it might be my eyes. What else? Figure crosses the street at 56:06. Is it here? There was something moved, something, but I can hardly see it. You know, and I'm sure the police will be able to enhance those images, but You know, as far as I'm concerned, I just can't see it. You know, I'm really trying to see it. I could go and look at it again. That one, I'd like to see the tall figure running. The figure crosses the street at 56:06. That's their timestamp. I don't even know if I'm looking in the right place, but I can't see anybody crossing the street. There's sort of a little flash here of something, but I don't know what it is. So yeah, so I'd recommend, if you want to have a good look at it yourself, go onto this YouTube, Brandon Smith. That's where this video is, and there is 2.5 hours of it. Now I think, yes, the scooters were clear. Obviously the scooters, the motorbike and that, we can see those clearly. Hi Simon K. Hi Simon K. Happy Easter to you as well. Yes, Michelle, his wallet was missing. His wallet was missing. Wallet, jeans and cowboy boots missing. But he was wearing his boxer shorts, his socks, his shirt, and his Apple Watch was still there on him. So, you know, it's difficult, isn't it? Because you think, oh, robbery, maybe it was robbery because his wallet was missing, but his Apple Watch was still there. So maybe it was just an accident and his clothes came off in the river. Anyway, I'm not going to go into all the things we've talked about because we've, you know, if you've come in a bit late, you need to rewind to see what's been said about from the forensic expert about, you know, what the possibilities that his clothes might have come off and what's the possibilities of dry drowning, etc. Need to really, you know, we have gone into all that already on the video, so I can't go into it all again. So there you go. So today will be his funeral. Be a very sad day for the family, but at least they have, you know, recovered their boy. I think that is very important, and they're all saying that. And now, once the funeral, once they've paid their last respects to their boy, they'll start looking into all the things that have been uncovered. So they've had the second autopsy done. They'll be investigating as much as possible things. They just want to know for certain what happened to their boy, and you can't blame them. If that was your boy, you would want all the details and you would want everything checking out. You would want to know that there wasn't somebody out there, you know, walking around who'd done something to your boy and got away with it scot-free. So, you know, you can't blame them for wanting answers. And I'm sure once they've got the answers to their satisfaction, even, you know, whether it's proven that it was accidental or it was foul play, they'll rest easier knowing exactly what happened to them. They have the right to know. They have the right to ask questions. If there's some anomalies, they have the right to explore all those avenues to their satisfaction, because this is their boy, their son. He's never coming back. They haven't got another one, you know. So it's like he can't be replaced. This is, you know, your baby's life, and he may have been 21, but I bet any money he was still their baby. So, you know, I hope that they get their answers that they need, that either lead them to think that yes, there is some foul play, and then, you know, lead to somebody, you know, getting justice for it, or lead them to realize that there was no foul play, and let them at least rest easy in their mind for that. You know, that it was just a tragic accident. Not that some twonk is wandering around free that has done something to Riley. That'd be your concern, wouldn't it? If some idiot was walking around who'd done something to your son when he was in a vulnerable state, because Riley was in a very vulnerable state. Wouldn't have been difficult to mug him, would it? Wouldn't have been difficult to attack him, because he was all over the place, bless him. So, you know, somebody who was, you know, with it, like, could quite easily have done something to Riley because he was in a very, very vulnerable state. Having said that, could be that he just fell into the river. It's possible. Okay. No, I didn't know that about Sebastian's stepdad. I will be looking at Sebastian again. It's just today we're talking about Riley. But I will be looking more into Sebastian maybe later today, because today I've not got Spanish classes. So I've got time to look into sort of cases, because sometimes when I'm working, etc., I just don't have time to look into things like this. CCTV, you know, it takes a lot of look, you know, I don't necessarily have, you know, 2.5 hours that I can just spend looking at a CCTV. But that's why it's good when people put their timestamps on. It's great because it means you can just hone in on the relevant times. But I must admit, not all those that I could see what the person was saying they could see. But we'll see. Huh. I know. Yeah, Rocky is just flat out. I'll give you a little look at him again, because he's much nicer to look at than I am. Look, there he is. He's just having a little nap. Yeah, because, you know, he's had a busy morning. He's got up, he's played, he's eaten, and you're having a little nap, aren't you? Because you apparently dogs sleep 14 hours a day. Lucky them. Oh, that is little Rocky who's on the chair. Okay, so have a lovely Easter Friday. I know some of you it's night time, some of you it's morning, so have a lovely evening or a lovely day. I'll be back very soon, and I will see you then. And remember to live and love wisely, carefully. Don't eat too much chocolate, though I know that's a waste of time in saying that, because we're all going to eat a bit of chocolate, I imagine, this weekend, probably quite a bit. And I will see you very soon in the next video. And until then, please, may your God go with you, and please take care. Take care. Just